other things that you would have found useful to what you do. Which congregation you work with again?
Highgate.
Highgate.
Yes.
All right. So I want you to know, discuss with me how you would have found what we have been doing useful.
Okay, sir. This course, as the name renders it, it is all about counseling, and
Yeah,
we
man. And
learn that.
how you practically apply what you have learned.
All right. So what we are saying is that basically we need to, as preachers, be as let's say we need to be helpers in the sense that many of the members of the congregations we are working with, they are going through certain problems in their lives. And sometimes they have the problem with themselves, but other times other people cause these things on them. So they need someone in order to uplift them and help them to be on the right path. So now as counselors or pastoral counselors, we are supposed to be equipped not only in the scriptures, but we need also to have some secular principles that are being used, whether in psychology or secular counseling, in order to give advice to that person or to guide the person through the problem that he is going with in order to make the right decision. So now we are going to, first of all, in our counseling relation with the person, to show that we care and we are interested. We need to show that we are a good listener as we listen to the problem which the person is presenting to us. And we need to try also not to let our, let's say, friendly relation to get in the way, because as we are giving counseling session with the person, we need to keep it professional. We don't want to be too friendly with the person, you know, maybe start making jokes or fun together. No, but we need to focus on the matter and try to help the person to deal with that particular struggle in his life. And that is why we have looked at Galatians, if I'm right, Galatians 6, verse 1 and 2, where the Apostle Paul says, if anyone is in trespasses, we need to restore such a one with a spirit of gentleness. So then we are here to guide the person. But one of the things that is really important for us to remember as counselors is that we need to be humble. Just as when Jesus, when they brought the adulterous woman to Jesus, he said to them, whoever does not sin, cast the first stone. So he was showing that all of us are guilty as just as the other. So when the person come to us and explain certain things to us, we should not be quick to judge as if, well, if it were me, I would have not done that. Like you are like, you know, the greatest person living on earth. We should not do that. And whatever the person say to us, we need to keep that private. Because if we go and share it with others, there are cases where we can do that. But normally, if the person says something that is really sensitive, we cannot go and share it with others or spread it out, because that is what counseling is about, and that is why the person came to you privately in order to help with the matter, so that she can move.
What are the cases what cases can you, or what would be the scenario in which you can share information?
Okay, all right, the scenario in which you can share information. is if the person came to you, let's say with a particular sin that he is struggling with, and then perhaps you advise the person, you encourage the person to move on and to change. Now the person is not willing to make any change at all. Then you can find one or two other members that can be there to encourage the person as well. You know, you let the matter be known to them and you help. But if the person is still being stubborn and keep on doing the same thing, then now the congregation can be aware of the indiscipline of that person.
Okay. All right. Any other
Yes.
case?
Yes. Okay. For example, if the person says that, you know, I reached to a point where the only solution is to just suicide myself. So this we cannot keep it for ourselves. We need to let it be known. And in fact, if we can get the authority involved, we should do that, because anything that happened with to the person, then now it is going to be on us because we knew about it. Another case if perhaps we are counseling a couple, two persons that are married, and one of them is threatening the other person's life, where there can be a case of death. This can be known as well to the public or to the congregation.
Okay. All right. All right. So anything else?
Yes, sir. One of the things that you have said that many counselors do, which you don't like, is when, for example, someone was raped, and then we are going to speak as if like the person caused herself to get raped because of the way she dressed and all of that. You have said that this is wrong. As a matter of fact, the person came to us to see if she can overcome the situation. Now, telling her that she was the one who caused that to happen is not helping at all, because really and truly, no matter how she was dressed, the person who raped her should not have done that. And this is the person who is wrong. So the person was a victim. Then we need to try our best to put away this kind of judgment and help the person through the process or the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
All
I
right.
believe overall this is what, if you have another question, maybe I can try to answer. But for me, as I try to recall to mind, these are the things that I would say.
Okay. All right. No, you're doing well. You're doing well. You're doing well.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what in terms of the what are some of the challenges that we can face within the congregation?
Some of the challenges
Yeah,
which
what
we,
are some of the challenges? And all right, let me put it in context for you. Let
okay,
us say for the past, COVID started 2020. What are
yes.
some of the challenges that you would have seen happening since COVID started to know that we have been having to deal with, where counseling is going to be relevant, or knowledge of counseling is going to be relevant?
Okay, so all right, this have several aspects, but I want to start with that one. What I notice is that because we have been apart from each other, we were not in fellowship as we were supposed to. I noticed that people are not really opening up to one another. So you will notice that they don't really take time maybe to greet one another, to maybe just hug one another, give a hand, all of that, because we used to do them. And these things are like warmful. They they are encouraging. As a matter of fact, the Bible wants us to be in fellowship with one another. So now in this area, counseling can be used to help them to understand that These things are needed if we really want to be a family. If we call ourselves family, we need to act as a family. That's why James says that we are not out to be hearers only, but we need to be doers. So as a family, we need to be here for one another, speak with one another, open to one another, so that we can strengthen the bond that is within us. Now, the next thing that the situation was really stressful. It has stressed out a lot of members of the church, and some of them even worse because they would have lost family members, they would have close friend, so that these persons now need some counseling sessions that will be helpful to them, to help them to move forward, but not to stay in the, it's like they are like in a hole, in a pit. It's like they are at the bottom of a pit, and then they need someone to take them out of that pit and help them to move on forward. Grieving is one of the most one of the most challenging thing in the world. When someone is grieving a loss, a man, that person, you never know, may not get out of it any at all, because memory, at times, it's difficult for us to forget things. So the person will have probably to speak up, speak to someone about it, because it really makes us feel good when we are going through certain things and we have someone whom we trust that we can speak with. As we speak about the thing, and we will start feeling some relief with the situation that we are bearing as a weight on our shoulders. So these are basically the challenges that we can face due to the COVID situation that we had in the lockdown.
Okay. All right. So in terms of the knowledge base of those of us who give counsel, what would you say about our knowledge base and how it affects the congregation?
Our knowledge. Okay, our if we are speaking about pastoral counseling, I would say that we are relying on the Bible to give advice, and that is why most people would seek a pastoral counselor instead of going to a secular counselor, because they know that what you are going to tell them will be something that is right. And as a matter of fact, most of them already know what needs to be done, but it's like they just need to hear it from someone in order to give them further zeal to do what needs to be done. So now our knowledge now is based on the Bible, because God is the greatest counselor to me that is ever known. So we need to we need to source our information from his word, in his counsel, in order to help others to move on with their life in the right way in the sight of God. I hope I answered the question, or I get the question
Yeah,
well.
man, you did.
Okay, sir.
All right. So in terms of secular counseling, how do we bridge the gap between the secular and the spiritual?
Okay. Normally, secular counseling is relying on principles that have been um, defined from research and mostly related to psychology. And that is why if the secular counselor is to maybe give you advice in order to find out the reason of your behavior and all of that, the person may have to go back from when you were a baby, the environment you grow from, to know maybe the culture or what it was like, because some of our behaviors are shaped by the environment or maybe by our parents, those who were there to socialize us as we grow up. So if something is wrong for a Christian, for example, it may not be wrong for an atheist because they don't believe in the word of God as the moral standard. So to many of them, there is no right or wrong. Anything that they do can be right, it can be wrong. It depends on their own view or their own worldview. So now the secular counselors are going to even sometime, lead you to do certain things which are not, which were not to be done exactly. And they may even sometime make a decision for you. Say, well, me in your situation, well, that is what I would do. That is what I'm advising you to do. However, we are here to give the person options. And when we give the person options, then he's going to choose what he feels is the best option to take. So secular counseling, if I'm giving a difference from secular counseling between, let me say between secular counseling and pastoral counseling, is that one of them is based on the principles of, let me say, the world or nature, or on some of the studies, psychology studies. But pastoral counseling now rely on the counsel of God, on the oracles of God, to counsel people to move their relationship further with Almighty God, and to heal also their mind and their spirit. That is basically the difference between both of them.
Mm-hmm. All right, good. All right. So, all right, one of the in reference to something that I had asked before, in terms of the disclosure that can be made if you are counseling somebody in a private matter, one-on-one, then you are not allowed to make certain disclosures. There are only, if you are doing counseling, well, it's not even professionally, but any counseling that is done within the confines of an office where information is shared, that information is basically protected, right? And to disclose that information is unethical.
Yes.
The only exception is if the person who is being counseled tells you that they have committed a crime.
Okay.
You are not obligated as the counselor to keep that, right?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, for you to keep that, you could actually be committing a crime also.
Yes.
Second instance, if the person is telling you that they're going to do harm to themselves or harm to others, you are not obligated to keep that information. You are, as a matter of fact, you are obligated to disclose that information.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
But every other information that is given is confidential, right? Yes. And you, as the counselor, and it's not just about being counselor as meaning a professional counselor, but even in the role of minister, as a minister, when we are given certain information, that information is confidential, right? That information is not information that is supposed to be shared at the pulpit, right? Because you are in a position of trust. You are in a position where somebody is basically putting themselves in a position of vulnerability, trusting that you will be able to supply them with the things that they need to get over this. All right?
Yes.
Which is different from somebody who does something publicly and you decide to give them counsel, and then other persons will have to get involved because of the response of the individual, and that's a different case.
Okay.
But as long as somebody comes to you in confidence, you are obligated to keep the information that is given confidential, because you must be a person of trust. You must be a person of integrity, right?
Yes.
You must be an individual that everybody in the congregation sees you as the go-to person for issues, right?
Okay.
It's not that, for persons should not be living in fear of those who lead, that they have to fear that whatever I say to you is going to become public knowledge. All right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's it.
Yes,
all right.
there's
So
something that you said which has struck me as well. I believe you said that if we feel as if most time people are coming to us for advice and all of that, then it may be a case where we have a talent in that area. Maybe we are called to good advice, and if we are willing to sharp our skills in doing that, to make sure that when we give somebody advice, it is the best one to give, then we can do our best to do further study in order to be able to help.
Yeah, and the truth is, Solin, the mere fact that you wear the title minister, people see you as a counselor, even if you don't have the skills to counsel.
Yes.
Right? Because the Bible actually gives us the ministry of counsel, of supplying counsel and encouragement. Yes. And so therefore it is important that we sharpen those skills. And it is not suggesting that you have to go and do a degree, a master's degree or whatever in counseling. But you can, there are ways, you can study for yourself, but you have to keep abreast of what is happening. You have to make sure that your skills, your knowledge is sharpened, right? Yes. And there are books and everything that that will be able to expose you to that, right? Yes, the world of giving counsel is something that is progressive, and so there are always books, information, things on the internet that can help you to sharpen your skill, and a lot of it comes from a biblical base. So in other words, there is no shortage of information to make us better equipped to handle the issues of people's lives.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes, you are where I expect you to be. And so some of these questions will be coming back on the exam, given basically the same format in terms of the questions. So prepare for that.
All right, we'll do.
And so I'm not going to introduce any new topic for now until we come back for the next semester. Then we go on to something new.
Okay,
all right.
Sir. All right. Thank you.
So we'll have a good day now, sir.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right.